Hi there. We have a thought for the day, and this thought comes to us from the book Spiritual Metaphysics by Owen Waters. And he's pretty perceptive. And I'm reading from page 25, okay? And he says, why did life begin? What preceded the creation of the physical universe? Long before all the details were thought about, infinite being made the initial move from pure beingness into the very earliest form of initial action. But why, when infinite being was perfection, bliss, and completion in every way, did it want to move from just being into an active state of doing? Why would infinite being embark upon a journey in search of perfection when it already had perfection? This is the question that has stymied mystic philosophers throughout the history of humankind on Earth. This is the question that has made thinkers shake their heads in frustration at the impasse which blocked their way. And this is the mystery which has, up until now, prevented us from knowing the answer to the question, why are we here? This has always been the ultimate question of mystics, and it was the question to which no one on earth had received an answer until December of 2007. At that time, I was sitting in the quiet of my home office, reflecting on the fact that the answer to the ultimate question was not to be found anywhere. My sense of curiosity was sending me deeper into the realms of inspiration, and then a most unusual thing happened. It hasn't ever been my habit to look for answers from spirit guides. Rather, it's always been my style to search my own inner space looking for inspiration. If someone from the afterlife were to come down from the spirit realms to visit me in my study, I'd be quite surprised at such an unexpected visit. On that day, I was lost in my reflections about the ultimate question when suddenly that's exactly what happened. A spirit presence materialized energetically right in front of my desk, changing the atmosphere in the room in a very distinctive manner. I double blinked my eyes, but to no avail, because physical eyes don't see spirit bodies. However, the sense of his presence was unmistakable, as was his identity. It was not the first time I had sensed the presence of this particular angelic being. He's a relatively recent addition to the senior ranks of the spiritual hierarchy of Earth. His function is to act as the primary protector of humanity's shift to higher consciousness. In response to my reflections and my curiosity, he had come to deliver a vital message. I was halfway through recovering from my surprise when the thought, I've cracked the code, came into my head as clear as day. What? I responded, and then immediately knew what he meant, as if an understanding had just unfolded into my consciousness. I found the answer, he clarified, and again, a set of related information unfolded itself into my awareness. From his home base in the angelic realms, he had launched his consciousness to levels previously unattained by any human or angelic being on Earth. And he found the answer to why God had created the universe in the first place. Well, what is it? I gasped in surprise and promptly received an assurance that it was something quite simple. Actually, when you think about it, an ultimate reality has to be ultimately simple. So what was the answer? I thought, almost bursting with intense curiosity. Right there, very appropriately, he dropped the answer into my thought stream. Curiosity was the seed of creation. It was the first seed of action. Infinite being, in its ultimate peace, bliss, and completeness in all ways, had initially developed a spark of curiosity. That was the one initial catalyst through which all else had come into being. Curiosity had led the desire to explore, for infinite being to begin to see itself from different perspectives and to see where that would lead. The great journey from being to doing had begun in that embryonic seed of curiosity. The outbreath into creation had begun, and it would continue, driven by the power of curiosity, until the in-breath would eventually bring all of creation back to its spiritual roots, enriched by having gained an infinite variety of experiences. Curiosity was the earliest motivator in the history of creation, and life began with curiosity. 2 minutes before, I'd been wondering what the answer could possibly be, and now I wondered why I had ever wondered. It seemed so obvious once I'd been given the answer. Curiosity, the one attribute that drives progress, that drives learning. Curiosity, the one quality we possess that shows we are well and truly a creation of our Creator. We were made in the image of God, in the imagination of the Creator. We were provided with intelligence, love, self-direction, and the engine that powers us along the journey back to our spiritual home. It's curiosity. This is what drives humanity on a perpetual quest for greater understanding of all aspects of life. Curiosity is the relentless drive that is built into us all. It is curiosity that is an essential driver of the growth of humanity. So, as you go through your day today, let your curiosity off the leash. Let yourself wonder about this and that, and who, and there, and why, and what, etc., etc. When you start deliberately asking, then something's going to show up as an answer. Your answer, any answer, can be the start of another set of curiosity. And in that way, we unfold. So let yourself unfold and have a great day.